China, Tzu Chi volunteers provide aid to flood-affected residents in Leshan City, Sichuan province. Take a look at how the EPA is implementing plastic-free and low-carbon project at Xiaoliuqiu. Selamat datang ke Daya Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. Welcome to Daya Headlines, thank you for joining us. In Leshan City, Sichuan province, China, a catastrophic flood occurred in mid-August. Tzu Chi volunteers from Chengdu went to assess the damage and provided the needed aid supplies.
The crops of the farmland on both sides of the road fell and are covered with mud, while the residential houses are all messy, and traces of flooding were found everywhere.
My kitchen was also flooded. The water level was very high. You can see traces of the flooding. It's over there. The door was totally immersed in water. The water quantity was so huge. You see, the tiles on the wall also cracked.
In mid-August, Leshan City in Sichuan province suffered a catastrophic flood. Tielu Town and Xiaoliuqiu Town were the worst affected. After the flooding, the crops of the local residents were all damaged, ruining the whole year's efforts.
All the hard work, which started in October last year till August this year, was all wasted. The value of tobacco leaves is relatively high. If the tobacco leaves is good enough, they can be sold at about 15,000 USD per ton. So his annual income, his effort is basically all ruined.
Some affected residents were arranged by the local government to stay in shelter, while some stayed with their relatives. After the flood, it was not easy to eat a bite of hot rice. Tzu Chi volunteers immediately bought electric frying pans and rice cookers to 1,366 households of affected residents.
Thank you very much for your love and care. Thanks once again.
After the flood, the residents were terrified. 2 days before sending out love, heavy rain fell again, and everyone was worried. As most of the villagers are elders, volunteers worry that they may not be able to operate a small electric appliance, so volunteers specially went to their houses to teach them, hoping to accompany them through this most panicked and helpless moment.
In Jiangxi province, China, due to the surge in water levels, severe flooding occurred in the surrounding towns. At the beginning of September, aid supplies were distributed to more than 3,000 households in the Duchang County.
As soon as materials on the trailer arrived, small trucks from villages came to unload the goods. Tzu Chi volunteers once again came to Duchang County, which was flooded in July, and delivered the supplies to more than 3,000 households affected by the disaster. In fact, this is not the first time the floods have occurred here. As early as 1998, villagers had experienced flooding. At that time, Tzu Chi also came to assist in relief aid. Nowadays, familiar figures have come again, and many villagers are moved to help. This time in Duchang County, there were a large number of affected households. The distribution activities were held in 2 days. Some volunteers were busy delivering supplies, and some were busy in the back with restocking the supplies for the distribution. Volunteers were busy with distributing and also comforting their minds. At the scene, some villagers came to show the volunteers the sheets and cotton jackets given by Tzu Chi 22 years ago. The memory of assistance in the past has all flooded everyone's hearts.
This quilt hasn't broken yet. It's good to use. It's very comfortable. This label was washed out by me. The labels are all washed off. I still use it every day.
The villagers love materials given by Tzu Chi, treating them like heirlooms. Although natural disasters have brought a lot of property losses to villagers, what remains in their hearts is love.
In Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteer Wu Wenzhan, who was once a motorcycle shop owner, now helps repair and deliver second-hand assistive devices. He also lends part of his house to store these devices. Here's more.
After collecting second-hand assistive devices, volunteers have to do this thing first.
Before we put it in the car, we need to spray alcohol spray on it in order to disinfect the device. After returning home, we need to spray alcohol spray for the second time before we move the device into the house.
City volunteer Wu Wenzhan has lent part of his house to store second-hand assistive devices. As a former motorcycle shop owner, he's good at mechanical repairs.
When this ascends, the head and feet will rise. It's normal.
After testing the device, volunteers quickly deliver it to the needy. Since the elevator is small, the volunteers have to place the device at a certain angle. Then they brainstorm how to use the space.
He only needs to lie on one bed, so just use the electric bed. We will move the extra bed to the nearby room. We've moved the device to the 6th floor and moved away their closet so we can place the electric bed.
The volunteers also mindfully explain ways to use the electric bed.
There's a button for the head. The one for the feet is here. It is connected.
Using the electric bed, I won't hurt my hand. I will not hurt my husband's hands as well. With the electric bed, it is convenient to ascend and descend. I am grateful to the Tzu Chi brothers.
The second-hand assistive device team gives the items a second chance, and they deliver the devices to the needy with love.
In Malacca, Malaysia, Asmin Tajuddin, along with his siblings, are Tzu Chi scholarship recipients. He hopes to become an accountant or a businessman in the future, so his parents do not have to do labor work and may rest comfortably.
Without a spacious room, given any furniture like tables or beds, these are places for children to study or write homework.
If there's an available space, the kids can study at their given room.
I'm studying accounting now. In the future, I wanted to become an accountant or a businessman.
Asmin Tajuddin and his siblings, who are all studying at secondary school, understand the hard-working nature of their parents. The siblings have good virtues and are focused on academics. On their free time, they help their parents with rubber tapping.
My mother often says that she works too much and it's tiring. When we grow up, we can't be like her. This is why, when I graduate, I will find a stable job so that my parents do not have to do labor work and may rest comfortably.
I stopped going to school at 5th grade. Before my father was poor, was unable to provide further education funds. This is why I insist on providing education to my children. Before I didn't have the chance, but now it's mandatory.
Starting from 2011 and 8 consecutive years, 4 children from the same household became Tzu Chi scholarship recipients.
When the new semester starts, this may reduce the burden on their parents. If they can complete their education and become successful, then it's also a way of shaking poverty.
Children who cherish opportunities and are filial are the biggest blessings to their parents.
Among all the outlying islands in Taiwan, the closest is Xiaoliuqiu, which is a major tourist spot during the summer vacation. The average number of people visiting the island is 10,000, which is more than the local population. Therefore, reducing waste at the source is particularly important. Follow a report as we learn more.
There's a joke in Xiaoliuqiu that if you don't see a green turtle, you should write a report.
I was very excited. I saw 4 of them.
Local green turtles are abundant in numbers and easy to see, which is an excellent selling point, turning this small fishing village into a tourist town.
The number of people who are involved in tourism is about 70% or more.
Following a slowdown in the coronavirus crisis, there is a business opportunity on the outlying islands, but there are still some hidden worries. Garbage hurts the ocean, and Chen Wenyu, who loves his hometown.
You see me picking up like this coral. I can see that it has been misplaced. It should be placed like this way. The coral bleaching may eventually become as Xiaoliuqiu suffers because of tourists take this boy home. I can use this boy material and tie it together to make installation art.
These bottle caps are affixed to the wall, which resemble the local landmark Flower Vase Rock. This green turtle is made up of countless fishing net buoys. This artwork made from trash is beautiful, but it does have a tragic meaning.
When garbage is battered on the coast, it can be even worse than discarding ordinary PET bottles.
These glass bottles are heavy and take up a lot of space, as recycling can be difficult. For this reason, Chen Wenyu took them back and turned them into creative items.
We shouldn't cause secondary pollution, as we have to make the best use of these materials to prevent more pollution.
It is hotter over there and they need more water, so they sell a lot of bottled water that leads to this plastic pollution.
On average, how many drinks do visitors in Xiaoliuqiu drink over a few days? If they come for 2 days and 1 night, I think they will consume at least 3 bottles. If they have 1 cup that is reusable, they can save 3 plastic bottles.
Some 3,500 stainless steel vacuum flasks are available for free rental. 90% of beverage shops and homestays have joined the shared service, and they can be borrowed or returned to different places.
It is convenient and you can borrow it. You can borrow it easily with your phone number or just scanning with your phone.
Beverage shops in the same area are willing to cooperate with local people and are willing to use them to return it easily, and they can be cleaned.
With 1 million tourists coming and 10% of the usage is reduced, we have saved some 300,000 plastic cups.
Xiaoliuqiu has a drinking water map. There are 11 drinking fountains on the whole island. Whether you are bringing your own cup or renting a local cup here, as long as you use the drinking fountain, will calculate the number of PET bottles saved.
We have provided 240,000 liters of water, which is equivalent to 400,000 PET bottles, reducing carbon by almost 60,000 kilograms.
One can go around the island in 20 minutes. One can find a water dispenser in an average of 2 minutes, so you can replenish water immediately after diving offshore.
Okay, I think it is good. We can save at least 2 to 3 cans a day.
At present, there are still a lot of scooters here, and there are currently more than 800 on the island.
Electric scooters are more expensive, right? This is cheaper.
The cost for gas scooters is $6 to $9 a day, and the rent for electric scooters is $12 to $15 per day. The gas scooters are mainly 2-seaters, but electric vehicles can only accommodate 1 person. Also, there is no charging station, and it is inconvenient to change the battery.
It's okay to ride on 1 tank of gas for 3 days. If you rent electric scooter for 3 days, the battery may have to replace 6 times and you need 1 spare battery. If you don't have a spare, you may ride halfway and run out of electricity, which is inconvenient and a higher cost.
Scooters are the main means of transportation on outlying islands, while electric vehicles are rarely promoted.
It's not only here that they increase the amount of garbage generated, but also the amount of recycling generated, and the waste oil. The load on the island's environment is quite heavy.
Despite the economic reality, we must pay more attention to environmental protection. Otherwise, when the beautiful environment is gone, what can be left here as tourists will no longer want to visit.
The Yongchang Recycling Station in Zhongzhen District, Taipei City, was formerly a beauty salon. The owner, Lai Meizhi, is a Tzu Chi volunteer and is determined to promote environmental protection. After retiring, she transformed the beauty salon into a recycling station and invited neighbors to do recycling.
In Zhongzhen District, Taipei City, Yongcang Borough, which is next to Dingzhou Road, and on Railway Line ran from Wanhua to Xindian. The community is old, but the people have a sense of rawness and friendliness.
My store used to be a salon. I started doing hairdressing soon after the house was built. Now I haven't done hairdressing anymore, but mainly recycling. I am happy doing recycling. Tzu Chi's sister Xie often goes to the market near Youth Park. There are lots of fruit stores, so many fruit cartons are there.
I often go there at around 8 or 9 o'clock to collect the cartons.
Not only her, but also two other elderly neighbors. For more than 40 years, they went to the market together every morning to do recycling.
I often go there at around 10 o'clock to sell vegetables and fruits. Sometimes if I have time, I will start dismantling the boxes earlier so that when the others arrive, we drive the paper boxes back together.
Li Xieshui is the oldest, while Xiuxiang is nearly 80. Whatever the weather is, they go to collect paper boxes several times a day, either by using a bicycle or a cart.
Even when it rains, they will put on raincoat to collect the boxes. I am very grateful for them. They are over 80 years old. Sometimes I feel pity for them, yet they are doing it enthusiastically and happily.
After being busy doing the work the whole morning, they rest on the stair and chat, showing their friendship.
There is a stairway which is quite wide, so many recyclables can be kept there.
Before the recycling truck arrives, all recyclables are kept temporarily in the stairway. Once the storage is filled, the elders move the recyclables up. Sometimes they will go up and down for more than 40 times, and it's very exhausting. Fortunately, there are young people coming to help.
It's really like doing exercise. It is quite exhausting. Originally, it was my father to move the recyclables, but he is already more than 80 years old. I, being his son, do not want him to do that.
Yu Zhugen and his wife Guo Meishui help handle everything in the recycling station. Although they are old, they keep doing recycling throughout the year. Their grandchildren are willing to follow their footsteps, so the whole family is mobilized to help in the large-scale recycling day, making the two elders very happy.
Some people ask me whether I have earned anything for doing it. I said, yes, I have. I am more than 80 years old and have good health. I don't have to pay for a helper to take care of me. I come to do recycling every day to earn a healthy body.
Neighbors join hands to do recycling, turning bits and pieces of recyclables into resources and connecting different households in the old community with good affinity.
Tzu Chi is 94 this year, and she lives in Tainan's Baihe district. She's very active and healthy, and has been doing recycling for the past 30 years. Let's see how this grandmother is setting an example for others to follow.
She is 94, and I think if I can live to be as old as she is and still be so active like she is, that would be great. So I'm taking a page out of her book and really getting into recycling.
She's very dedicated to the recycling mission. Often, she's still here sorting when everyone else has gone home.
My surname is Chen, and my mother named me Chi. I learned about the recycling mission from watching TV. I saw many people do it on TV, and it looked fun and interesting. I thought since I don't have much to do, leaving the house to do exercise would be good. Since the master is promoting this, I just follow what she says.
看这电视的，还自嘛咧讲，讲你电视甲转落，我就到恁遐。
She's actually been doing this for 30 years. When she started, she thought since she was old and didn't have an income, she could sell the recyclables for money to donate to Tzu Chi.
I've known grandmother Tzu Chi for over 10 years, but then she would go to the streets of Baihe, and I lived over there, so I would see her often.
较早迄阵咯，迄边就要饲6个囝，迄老的吼。
I have 6 children to raise. My husband was not good to me. If I gave him money, he would be good, but if I didn't, he would yell at me to leave the house. What can I do? It was my fate. I needed to take care of the kids. If I argued with him, the kids would hear and feel bad, so I didn't argue back.
你这查囝，互你较看心吼。哟，迄阵，你看你遐讲的呀，介挂心。阿妈说哟。 没关系。啊，以前唔知影我要扣啊。
She didn't know before that I was doing it to donate money to Tzu Chi. She told me I have 5 sons who will give me food to eat and money to spend. If I collect recyclables, the neighbors will laugh at me. I then explained to her it is for Master Zhenyan, and she started to help me.
I would tell my mother that it's too hot during lunchtime and don't work on the shutting right now. But she is stubborn about that since she had free time. She wants to sort it.
我你扣，叫我莫扣。叫你系。叫我莫扣。啊，即摆咧？啊，即摆你快热啲扣。哦。够好诶。做到。
很坚持，就是他要做这个。
She's very determined to keep up the recycling mission to help the master. Her sons are doing well in life, and there is not much for her to worry about, so she can continue to uphold the recycling mission.
专注于在做环保这个区块。
足侪人来你斗用啊，啊足好诶呢，感觉足欢喜诶啊，熟悉啊，是啊，阿姨都有你收吼，啊，咱甲做互伊收啊，互伊安尼呢。
Due to the pandemic, many blood donation campaigns have been halted for safety reasons. In Sri Lanka, the blood bank faced a shortage of blood. Tzu Chi volunteers immediately carried out blood donation campaigns in Hambantota and Colombo. Underneath the hot sun, the bright red blood donation signboard can be seen clearly at the roadside, encouraging the public to donate blood. Due to the lack of blood in the blood bank, Sri Lankan Tzu Chi volunteers organized blood donation campaign in Hambantota and Colombo, with the army, civil defense units and young people supporting.
I participate in most of the events hosted by Tzu Chi. I've also participated in the blood donation campaign a few times now. I've also brought back my bamboo coin bank to donate to Tzu Chi.
A total of 198 people donated their blood in 2 blood campaigns. Although the pandemic is still ongoing, the people are still willing to show up and do good deeds. There's also a disabled man who came to donate blood for the 3rd time in his life.
I'm very happy to be able to donate blood. I've faced a lot of challenges in my life. I'll continue doing good deeds when there is the opportunity. Hopefully, I'll have a better life in my next life.
In Sri Lanka, after a donor's blood is being centrifuged, it can be used to help treat patients. Tzu Chi volunteers' action has helped relieve the blood shortage crisis in Sri Lanka. In the auspicious 7th lunar month, Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteers made vegetarian meal boxes to encourage more people to adopt a vegetarian diet. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.